What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so let me say this and get this out the way. I'm not talking to most of Trump supporters that follow my page. I know, there's this perception that I'm some secret Trump supporter and this is some safe haven for Trump supporters. In reality, I don't care who you voted for. If you voted for Kamala Harris, that's your business. If you voted for Donald Trump, that's your business. If you didn't vote, that's your business. If you voted third party like I did, I prefer that you did that, but that's your business. Okay? I'm just on here giving my opinion. If anybody's been following me from the get-go, you've been following me for 10 years or 5 years or 6 years or 4 years, you would know by now that I despise the Democratic Party. My hatred for Democratic Party goes back 30 years. When I first started researching the party's history, and in my opinion, seeing the scams they've been playing on us for the past 40 years. Okay? I despise somebody who pretends to be my friend more than somebody that we know don't fuck with us. I mean, what burns more? Somebody that you know don't like you and they let you know they don't like you, or the betrayal of a person who you thought were your friend, but the whole time they were scheming and plotting against you. To me, it's the betrayal that hurts more. But having said all of that, right? There are Trump supporters out there that are getting on my everlasting nerves. Okay? You guys, your candidate, Donald Trump, won the biggest Republican victory as far as raw votes and electoral margin since George H.W. Bush in 1988. Okay? He swept all the swing states, swept all of them, and they weren't really particularly close. They still haven't called Arizona, which I don't understand. They just called Nevada. They still haven't called Arizona, which is a foregone conclusion at this point. Doesn't make any sense. Florida probably had 9 or 10. No, Florida probably is going to have like 11 million votes, right? They called Florida within like 90 minutes of the polls closing. It's taking Arizona, it's going to take them a goddamn week. This doesn't make any sense. But anyway, Trump wins this resounding victory. He did the best in the black vote for Republicans since Gerald Ford in 1970s. With black men, he did the best since Richard Nixon in 1972. Okay? He did the best for the Hispanic vote in 52 years, since 1972, Richard Nixon. When you combine the House and the Senate, as far as the popular vote and the swing from the prior election, this is the biggest GOP victory collectively, House and Senate and presidency, since 1928. That's my dog whining in the background. So you guys should be absolutely elated. Yet I keep seeing Trump supporters, complaining about shit. How is it that Trump won Arizona so convincingly, but Kerry Lake hasn't been declared a victor yet? Oh, they're trying to cheat. It's a steal. How could Trump get all these votes, but Kerry Lake still hasn't been called yet? It don't make any sense. You know what that is? That's people who don't know what the hell they're talking about. Use some common sense for once. On the one hand, you're talking about how Kamala Harris is this historically awful candidate, but then you're wondering why Gallego has more votes than Kamala Harris. You ever heard of ticket splitting? Once upon a time, that was more common. It doesn't happen as much as it used to, but it's a real thing, meaning that what's going on is that you got people who are voting for Donald Trump on the Republican side, right? But maybe voting for Gallego, or what might be going on more commonly in some states is you got some people who aren't even voting in the presidential race. They're just skipping Campbell. They're not selecting either one of them, or maybe they're voting third party, and then voting for Gallego from Senate and Democrat on down. That's what's going on. Donald Trump is just doing better, or there's some people who are voting for Donald Trump. Well, I already said that before. There are some people who are voting Trump on the top of the ticket, but they may not be voting for Trump at the bottom of the ticket Republican from down. That's called ticket splitting. You might be voting Republican for one race, Democratic for another race. I did that. Hell, one of the damn races I voted for Republican on the Virginia ballot. Other races I voted Democratic. Some of the races I wrote my damn self in because I didn't like any of the candidates. It's called ticket splitting. There used to be a lot more independents, but because the electorate is so polarized, you don't see it as much as you used to. But yeah, all this complaining, man, y'all won. And you're still like looking to find some conspiracy. What happened to all these millions of votes? Biden won 81 million. Why does she only got 60 million? Now, of course, that's obsolete. As I said before, they're still counting ballots. So her total is now up to 71 million. There's still millions of votes that haven't been counted, but I don't know. If I had to just pull a finger out my ass, I would say she's going to wind up with like 74 million votes, which is going to be 7 or 8 million votes less than Joe Biden. Now, the way the figures look right now, it looks like the final popular vote figure is going to be like 154, 155 million. So that's going to be 3 to 4 million fewer people voting this election in 2020. But keep in mind, we were going through a pandemic 4 years ago, and some states, it was much easier to vote. It was much easier. Now, more states require some sort of ID, some sort of identification if you're going to vote in person or absentee or mail-in, whatever the case may be. So that's ticked down some. There's still a lot of people voting. It's still 150. It's going to be 154, 155 million people. So this 120 million figure was capped. I said it on election night or November the 6th. So still a pretty high. I mean, look, 2020 saw a 66% voter participation percentage. We hadn't seen that since the 1890s. That's not something that you're going to normally see all the time. 2020 was a very unique situation. The negative tone of this campaign, I think, turned off a lot of people. Donald Trump is still toxic. He won, but he's still a toxic, polarizing figure. Kamala Harris was an awful candidate. By the way, don't forget that a lot of Democrats were still turned off by what they did, the Democratic Party, I should say, in this process. A lot of them were voting for Joe Biden. A lot of them weren't screwing with Kamala Harris, no pun intended. They didn't like it because you had millions of people who voted in the Democratic primary. And not only that, remember all of those, over those 110,000 uncommitted, I think it were called slate that got votes in Michigan. Don't forget, a lot of people are angry at the Biden administration too. So a lot of this was a little bit, at least, some Democratic voters not coming out and voting for the Democrats. I think Trump had a weird coalition where he did lose a little bit of his former base because of January 6th, because of some of the legal issues, especially with older voters who are a little bit more religious, more conservative, true conservatives. They were turned off by some of the stuff, the shenanigans, but he got newer voters. He got new voters to add and replace those that he lost, and actually gained. He gained young voters. He gained Hispanics. He gained some black voters, particularly young and male. White women still voted for him. You had Muslims. 95% of Orthodox Jews voted for him. Another thing, and a friend of mine, we were just talking, man. Uh, the media like to project him or call him Adolf Schickelgruber, right? Or he wants to be Adolf Schickelgruber. But ain't it funny that the Israeli prime minister loves him? 95% of Orthodox Jews voted for him. You know what I'm saying? It's just, there's just some things that don't make sense with the stuff they're talking about. But anyway, and these Trump supporters, they need to shut the fuck up with that shit, man. It's getting on my goddamn nerves. Damn, you heard of sore winners. Sore losers. These guys are sore winners. You won. You won. Your party controls the presidency. Your party controls the executive branch and the judicial branch, and they control the legislative branch. I shouldn't say won the judicial branch. They control the judicial branch, Supreme Court. They won the presidency, the executive branch. And now you guys are probably going to be firmly in control of the legislative branch. So this is a powerful president ready to come into office. Although in some aspects he's a lame duck because he can't run again. So you better believe J.D. Vance, who was once a big hater of Donald Trump, is going to cater like a mug to that damn base. He's going to adopt some positions even further to the right? But anyway, yeah, just stop complaining, man. Seriously. It just reveals that a lot of Trump supporters are motivated by revenge, and they're motivated by petty grievances. They want to punish the blue side, you know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. It's just ridiculous. Tell me what you guys think.